This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I mean, you talk about the type of game that reminds you why you love baseball. Tigers win it in extra innings, a thrilling win to begin the series in Minnesota. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers postcast. I am your host, Jake Reitman. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Reitman. And so much to say about this one. The defense was excellent. Riley Greene, a home run, and one of the better plays you will see in the outfield. Spencer Torkelson saving the game with the play at the plate. All kinds of stuff to unpack on tonight's live Locked On Tigers postcast. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to get your comments in early and often. We'll mix in as many as we can because it's a collaborative environment here in the live Locked On Tigers postcast, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, on YouTube, it's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. Make sure you like and subscribe the Locked On Tigers page. And oh yeah, by the way, we'll have our biggest talking point, our turning point, and our player of the game. So buckle up, dial it in, and this one's going to be fun to unpack because like I said, you talk about the game, the type of game that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, gives you goosebumps. There was plenty of fingernail biting moments throughout the course of that game, and in particular in extra innings. I know I was up pacing around thinking, how is this game going to end? And fortunately for the Tigers, who all of a sudden they've won 3 of 4, and the momentum's starting to build a little bit. But this is the type of win that can really galvanize a team. So let's go ahead and get right into it. It's our biggest talking point.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I think there's a couple of different directions we could go here, but this game does not go in the Tigers' favor. It's not a win at the end of the night without the excellent and downright elite defense that the Tigers played throughout the course of this evening. I mentioned the Riley Greene catch. I'm looking at the replay of it right now. He scales the wall, skins his elbow, cuts it all up, makes the catch, and in a big, big spot to help this Tigers team. Now, of course, in the home half of the 10th inning, after the Tigers did not score in the top of the 10th inning, where Minnesota just need one run, they bunt the guy over, and the ball that stays on the infield, Torkelson has to go home with it, puts it right on the money, and Dingler applies the tag ahead of the runner to ensure the out. It was fundamentally sound. It wasn't an easy play by any means. So kudos to this defense all the way around. Javi played well in center field, then in the shortstop position as well. They just showed the Spencer Torkelson throw home, and it was not an easy throw because obviously the runner is off on contact, and Torkelson makes the type of throw where he's, I wouldn't say off balance, but being down on the ground, fielding the ground ball, scooping, and somewhat on the run, all in one motion, where the release, it's so critical that release is so quick. And Torkelson checked every single box and made the play, because if that throw is even a fraction, a centimeter, a hair off, and it's not right on the money, Dingler has a tougher, more difficult task to apply the tag in time. But Spencer Torkelson put it right on the money, and Dingler deserves credit as well. And so how about this Tigers pitching staff, though, in addition to the defense? Because, man, if you're making a believe, if you've only watched the Tigers the last 2 games, you would believe in the bullpen. That's for sure, because you had in the 10th inning, with the way the Tigers elected to go through the pitching for the extra innings, you got to give Montero a lot of credit there, getting the win and pitching an inning and a third and closing it out. And overall, just the entire bullpen contributing to the win tonight, which, again, that's been the Achilles heel for this Tigers team. And tonight they became a strength for this Tigers team once again. Holton gets the big out to begin the 10th, and then Martin grounds out the throw home for the second out of the inning, and then Montero comes in to get Buxton to line out to the shortstop, and then Montero goes ahead and pitches that 11th inning to close the door for the win. So again, Finnegan pitching that scoreless ninth, that's crucial in a 3-3 game. So it's about the ability to really, and I'm sorry, the eighth as well. So Finnegan pitches the eighth and the ninth. My apologies there, but it's about securing and solidifying this bullpen, and we saw instances yesterday's day game and the night game tonight. So I'm not going to go all the way to that side and say, hey, I believe in this team, but in this bullpen in particular. But man, Finnegan has been a tremendous acquisition, and Montero, again, give him credit. He showed some real stones tonight. Let's get into the comments, because I know there are a ton of them, as there should be after an epic win like this. And before we get into our my Tarik Skubal reaction and what we saw from him tonight, as well as some of the offense. So Mark says, biggest win so far, still swinging at too many balls though. Gareth says, an amazing win by the Tigers. I agree. The dude, probably one of the more satisfying wins since before the All-Star break, and back-to-back nights with the bullpen looking pretty good. That's from the dude. We are on the same page for sure. Demetrius McNeil says, Jake, another game, another one-run Tigers victory. As I said, take the one-run win, and we love it. Play the song, Mr. DJ. By the way, Padres and Dodgers in a battle for first in the National League West this weekend. Yeah, that is kind of wild. The Padres have come all the way back to overtake the West, at least when I looked at the standings beginning this morning. I don't know what happened the rest of tonight. But yeah, we got our own race to worry about. Got to check in. I believe the Cleveland Guardians lost. I want to make sure that's final. No, they came back. No, they won. That's on me. I saw that the Marlins had a 4-3 lead in this one, and I'm looking now at the box score. That was pretty early. So sorry about that. That's on me. But point being, hey, this Tigers team took care of business because they had to have it tonight, and they did. Versus wants to give Montero the player of the game. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Get your votes in for player of the game. Ethan May Music says, really crucial moral victory here. Morale victory, probably. That's my bad. Proud of Skubal for fighting back, and proud of the boys for sticking with him. Yeah, Skubal didn't have his best stuff. Able to compile 7 innings of 3 and allow the 3 runs. And the pitch count got up there with 29 pitches in the 3rd inning. And for Skubal, it's kind of crazy to say, yeah, off night again tonight, just, 7 innings, allowing only 3 runs. Yeah, but that's a pretty crazy off night. And, he only struck out 3. So the put away pitch wasn't always there, especially for a guy like Skubal, who so oftentimes when he gets 2 strikes on a guy, they don't stand a chance. But gave his team a chance to win, that's for sure. And Javi Baez, I think I mentioned him, but man, he helped get that rally started to get the tying run across there in the 6th inning. And overall for Javi Baez, played a good center field as well. Finishes 2 for 4. And again, Riley Greene with the home run, Kerry Carpenter with 2 hits in the game, and the RBI single in the 6th from Colt Keith that tied this game up. So again, I think this is a night where there's lots to feel good about. I really do. And that's the fun part of having a baseball team that's in the hunt, because less than a week ago, I was feeling pretty down. We all probably were feeling pretty down. And that's the great thing about baseball, is tomorrow's a new day. Likely going to play another game. All right. Who we got next? The dude with another comment here. ZMAC flashing around some leather tonight. Just need to get the bat going again. Agreed. That's another good point. ZMAC made some really good plays. I believe it was in the 10th or the 9th. It was a slow roller, and he threw it and made a nice throw across the diamond. I do want to mention, of course, the ejection, the Twins manager getting ejected when it was the right call, because Dingler clearly caught the foul tip, but Rocco Baldelli had enough. And Rocco Baldelli, I think, was a little bit worked up on some of the balls and strikes calls earlier as well. Lots of things to be worked up about. I mean, the Twins are not selling. The ownership group is not selling the team. That's something to get worked up about for sure. Caven is next, or Coven. Colt Keith continues to rake. Glad this guy's back proper form now and can play third. Not too badly. Mark is up next. What's record for most one-run wins in the season? I don't know that off the top of my head, but this Tigers team, I don't know the exact record. They mentioned it on the telecast right as I was getting ready to go live. I don't know exactly what the record is in one-run games, but man, is it really, really good. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break because we've got more to get to. Although I did just read this comment. Do you think bunting is a mistake in the 10th? Because the Twins tried to play the small ball, only needing the one run. I don't think it's a mistake. Of course, the easy way is if it works out. You got the runner to third with less than 2 outs. That's obviously the whole idea, and you failed. It's more, the onus is more on the hitter who kept the ball in the infield with 2 strikes. It was interesting that they're showing bunt with a runner on third twice, and Dirks mentioned it on the broadcast that it wasn't really a convicted take at bunting. It was just kind of throwing the bat out there. Before you knew it, it was just 0-2. And so if you go back to that particular moment in the game, obviously it's a critical moment in the game where Martin ends up grounding out, and he took a strike looking, he bunted the ball foul, and then he had a very uncomfortable swing and was just never in rhythm and totally out of funk that entire at bat. So that being said, hey, we're running out of time. I wish we could go for hours and hours and hours on a Locked On Tigers postcast stream after a night like tonight, but we got to take a quick break, keep the lights on, be right back on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Monarch Money. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet, which is good news. I don't know how to use Microsoft Excel. I linked all my accounts to Monarch Money and immediately spotted a few subscriptions I wasn't even using. So that's an easy cancellation. And canceling those alone saves you some good money every single month. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. Today's episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is also brought to you by our good friends at 5 Hour Energy. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavor brings shots the iconic taste of a golf course, a favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day, your 5 Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. What's the wildest shot you've ever made? Well, I think about some chip-ins I've had. I've never had a hole-in-one. I sure want to. But, man, it provides such a wild jolt of energy, just like a good 5 Hour Energy does. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the Bev card. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 any golf tournament in the USA. That's 5 Hour Energy. That's 5HEWin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. And it ends October 31st, 2025. What a win for the Detroit Tigers in extra innings, in 11 innings, in fact, 4-3 over the Minnesota Twins. Both teams were scoreless in the 10th. Tigers get the sac fly from Gleybor Torres and then win it in the bottom half of the 11th. Shout out to Rafael Montero, for pitching that scoreless 11th inning. All right, more comments to get to. Rich says, who says we don't have a pen, baby? Gary Myers says, now go win the series. There you go. 4-game series. Let's do it. I love it. R1 VJ4 says, Motor City Metrics versus Locked On Jake. Tee-hee. They must went to sleep. We're not doing that. I love those guys at Motor City Metrics. In fact, real quick, if I may, that comment just queued me up. There's so many great Tiger podcasts out there. I love the one from the Detroit Free Press, the one with the Motor City Metrics guys, the one with the Athletic. There's just so much great Tiger baseball content out there, and everybody does such a tremendous job. So that's why I find it as an honor if you choose the live Locked On Tigers postgame show. So that being said, Sean Gray's comment here, Montero pitched nice. I wasn't sure about going to him, but it worked out. Yeah, AJ Hinch deserves some credit. As critical as I am of him at times, he deserves some credit when it goes right. But we're running late here, so let's get right into our turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Couple of turning points. I initially had the Riley Greene catch marked down. I also had the throw home from Spencer Torkelson, because literally that saves the game. So if we want to talk about where the game was won, it was in that play where Torkelson gloves it, fires home to Dingler, and the tag is applied. Other great defensive plays, Zach McKinstry, Javi Baez, the list goes on. I mean, this Tigers team was on it today. Fundamentally sound, focused, knowing the magnitude of the moment and delivering it. So a couple of different turning points. This was a game that had all kinds of twists and turns, and even Dylan Dingler holding on to that foul tip in the glove that ultimately led to Rocco Baldelli's ejection in this one. So lots of good stuff from a turning point perspective. How about our player of the game?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
This one's tough. There's a couple of them. Riley Greene, the home run and the tremendous catch in left field. I think he gets my first ballot player of the game, but we'll do a little Mount Rushmore action so we can name a couple of guys, because Rafael Montero deserves credit for the ability to pitch in such a high leverage situation and keep the Twins off the board. And same with Kyle Finnegan for that matter. So want to get those guys some mention as well. And oh yeah, by the way, you got the game winning RBI from Gleybor Torres. So all kinds of good stuff, and just the type of victory that makes you proud to be a Tigers fan and certainly believe in this team. No doubt about that. We're going to remember this one, and I think that was Sergio's comment right now. We're going to remember this win if the Tigers hang on and make the playoffs. Bullpen got it done tonight. I completely agree, because this is we talked about those games where it puts everything into question. This was the opposite. This starts to answer some questions, and if they can sustain these types of wins at a high level of consistency, and when I say these types of wins where the bullpen is contributing and a strength of the team as opposed to a weakness, that's a huge part of it. Fundamentally sound defensively and doing just enough to offensively to scratch across enough runs for the win. So that's going to do it for me tonight. Hey, this is the first of 4 against the Minnesota Twins. So looking forward to that, because man, it's fun playing divisional teams. That's for sure. And the Tigers have won 3 out of 4. So let's keep it going. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you like today's video and subscribe to Locked On Tigers. And we'll see you next time on the live Locked On Tigers postcast. Have a wonderful night. Talk to you next time.